Hey everyone, Magpie Gaming here, bringing you another Call of Duty WW2 video. Now we're just just under a week away from launch now, and there's been some notes put out by Sledgehammer Games detailing some of the things that we can expect from the final version, including minimum and recommended specs for the game, and some of the things that they've implemented since the beta that we had a few weeks ago. One of those is the anti-cheat technology. Now the beta run little to no anti-cheat technology. Not sure why this was. I think a lot of people surmised that this was so that they could see exactly what cheats people were going to try and implement with the game, record them, and then combat those with a final update to the anti-cheat system. And they're saying that they're now ready to deploy the full measures of anti-cheat technology, and that they will be banning from day one. This is of the utmost importance to them that everybody has a level playing field to enjoy the game, which is good. Hopefully it works pretty well and it bans good. Can't say that I had too much dealings with cheats in the beta. There was maybe one or two here and there where you could definitely tell they were cheating, but it wasn't plagued with them like some people seem to report it was. But maybe it was plagued for them, but for me, I didn't really see too much of it going on. Next up, we have details on the FOV slider, and they tell you how far the FOV slider will go depending on your aspect ratio. For 4.3 it will go up to 100, for 16:10 it will go to 100, 16:9 it will go to 95, for 21:9 it will go to 80. Next up, we've got some of the PC specific features that are going to be included with the game. It's obviously going to have native 4K support, which is a big bonus for this game. It's going to have a frame rate cap slider that goes up to 250 FPS. You've got fully remappable keyboard and mouse. You've got controller support. NVIDIA G-Sync is included. FreeSync is included. It's got ultra wide monitor support, high resolution mouse support, and advanced video settings. Next up, one issue that has been in the news recently, and this is due to Destiny and it using aim assist. It's quite polarized a lot of people, especially PC players, with this. Should we have aim assist? Shouldn't we have it? Well, for the COD launch, there will be no aim assist for the PC, and this has been done because they believe it really isn't necessary on the PC version of the game. Now for the console versions, of course, it will still be included on that, but for the PC, for the launch at least, it's going to be disabled. So now I don't know if it was enabled for the beta. There was nothing ever said about aim assist then, but of course, like I said, with Destiny 2 coming out, aim assist has come to the forefront of things. A lot of people not happy about it being there, a lot of people don't really care. So, but for Call of Duty, they're going to disable it. So for the specs, the minimum specs for the PC, of course you will need Windows 7 64-bit or later. For your CPU, you're going to need an i3 3225 running at 3.3 GHz or an AMD Ryzen 5 1400. A minimum of 8 gigs of RAM. You're going to need 90 gigs of hard drive space. For your graphics card, you're going to need an NVIDIA GTX 660 at 2 GB, a GTX 1050 or a Radeon HD 7850 at 2 GB, or an AMD RX 550. And of course, it's going to have to be a DirectX 11 compatible video card. You're going to need a broadband connection and a sound card, two things that are blatantly obvious when you get in a game of this nature. You're going to have to download it, and you're obviously going to want to hear it. I think they're I don't understand the reasoning with putting those two things in the specs, but there you go. So for the recommended specs for CPU, we have an i5 2400 or an AMD Ryzen R5 1600X, a minimum of 12 GB of RAM, again 90 GB of hard drive space, an NVIDIA GTX 970 or a GTX 1060 at 6 GB, or a Radeon R9 390 or an RX 580, and again it has to be DirectX 11 compatible. You've got to have broadband connection and sound card. Again, I don't understand why you'd add those in. Of course you need a broadband connection and a sound card, but there you go. They also say that they gathered data from the PC beta and that nearly 100% of all matches were hosted on dedicated servers. So for the launch, they've made sure that their infrastructure is 100% ready, and everybody will be playing online with high tick rate dedicated game servers globally. What tick rate? They don't say, but I'm assuming it's going to be a lot more than Battlegrounds is. So I would assume that it's going to be around the 60 to the 100 mark. I would say probably around 60 to be fair. So there we have it, the specs, the minimum and the recommended. No great surprises there. I think they're roughly the same as what we had for the beta. Of course, one of my criticisms of this game was the graphics of it. They aren't very I don't know what the word is, they're not very modern. The graphics engine looks dated, the graphics are dated. So for PC purists, that's a problem because we want to have the best graphics out there. But for the vast majority of the gamers, that's good. It means that it will scale very well across a raft of different system specs and setups. So even if you're running a fairly old PC, you are going to get good gameplay out of this game. One other thing to note is that the preloads for this game are now already live. So on the PS4, the Xbox One and the PC, you can preload this game right now. All ready for the launch on the, is it 3rd of November? The 4th of November? No, it's 3rd of November, there we go. All ready for the 3rd of November. So that's pretty much all the news I've got for you on Call of Duty World War 2. I am buying it, I will be taking part, although I'm not sure when I'm going to fit it in. A lot of games come out recently that I need to try and get into, but yeah, I will be taking part in this game. I did like the beta. I liked the fact that they took it back to World War 2, you know, taking it back to its roots. I'm not sure they'd done that fully, but with the World War 2 theme, it felt really good. I love the guns, I love the gameplay. Very fast and furious, so I'm not sure what kind of longevity it will have with me, but I did have fun with the beta, so I will be getting the game. And yeah, that's about it for today, folks. So yeah, thank you very much for watching and listening. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and I will catch you in the next video. Take care.